Everyone, I'm here with part 3 of this research paper library session. Okay, so in part 1, we talked about the library session and what we were going to try to accomplish today. And we got you all the way to logging in to the online databases for Front Range Community College. In part 2, I went through some tips on how to research your topic and how to refine that search so that you got a manageable number of journal articles to potentially look through. And we highlighted how to email those links to yourself. And I also instructed you to have a couple of backups and then to print out your favorite research paper journal article between 10 and 15 pages approximately, and that should be in front of you right now. Okay, so I am now going back to this library session paper, and I'm looking at this bottom piece where it says for our next research paper class. So this will be held for us our next class meeting day, and I will have videos up for you probably on that day with APA style. So basically what you want to do today is get yourself ready to incorporate APA style. So let's look at what you need to do to prepare yourself for the next class meeting. Okay, so number 1 on there is read and annotate your journal article. So you have it printed out here, and you're going to read it. And this is one of the reasons I only go for one journal article. I really want you to read it, understand it, try and feel comfortable with it to the point where you're going to be able to summarize it in 2 pages. So you're going to read and annotate. Annotate, you probably are familiar with this. This is highlighting important parts. We also make notes in the margins about how we would summarize or paraphrase a particular piece as we go along. It's really helpful when you then go to writing the paper. So it says bring the article to class. Well, bring the article to our class here as we meet online. All annotated, some pieces summarized. The second thing I want you to do is write in a Word document, please, 2 pages of summary for the journal article. So basically you're going to summarize what was said in that journal article and do that in 2 pages. So you're going to use the basic guidelines for research paper information. So let's take a quick look at the basic guidelines. That's the second piece. So here, this was the online library session, the first handout I was looking at. Research paper basic guidelines. Hopefully you've also printed this out. You can print out the rubric as well. These 3 sheets of paper will be very helpful to you. So right now I'm looking at these basic guidelines. So in the basic guidelines, it tells you sort of the nuts and bolts of this paper. It's going to be turned into the assignment folder. I indicated where that was to you here in the first part 1 of this library session video series. So number 2, it says it's going to be 2 full pages of content. So we'll talk more about general formatting for APA style 7th edition the next time we meet. We'll talk about the double spacing, the size, the type font, the size font, etc. But in general, this paper, I'm looking for 2 full pages of content. And that will be double spaced. So when you're writing your summary, just keep in mind, you're going to want it to end up to be about 2 pages of content. So if it goes a couple of lines over, I'm generally okay with that. If it's short, then I start to deduct points. And really that's because it's only 2 pages. And if it's short there, you feel it. I feel it when I'm reading it. So the 2 pages of content are going to be based on your journal article. All right, so now I'm still looking at the technical requirements here. There are 2 additional pages for this research paper. So in addition to the 2 pages of summary for the paper, you'll also have a title page and a references page. So all total, that's 4 pages. That's what I'll be looking for. Sometimes it's 5 if the 2 pages of content go over slightly. Don't have it go over by very many lines, or else then that's a problem. Okay, so total of 4 pages for the entire paper. It's going to be based on your summary. That means original, non-plagiarized, so you're going to be paraphrasing or putting things into your own words. I wrote down number 6 here. You can use your textbook or another internet source for the introduction. Sometimes people want to do that, but it is not required. If you do that, you're making a little bit more work for yourself. You have to put those pieces onto the reference page. So the flow of the paper is outlined here, and you can read through this to help you understand how to create that summary. All right, so now I'm going back to what I'm looking for the next time we meet, which is next week. So you're going to have those 2 pages of summary written and come to our class time fully prepared to create the title page. I will give you the information about how to create in APA style 7th edition title page. So we are different from 6th edition. A lot of Front Range is still on 6th edition. I have switched to 7th edition because it is easier to do for the title page and for a few other things. And so I really appreciate that. But we will talk about the title page. We'll talk about setting up your reference page. We'll talk about general formatting issues all the next time we get together. So if you come to that session with the 2 pages of summary written, that's very, very helpful. Then we can use those 2 pages of summary and add on the title page, add on the reference page, use what you've written already to practice some in-text citations. If you come with nothing, we can still do some work, but it's not very efficient for you, and it's not as productive. So please do come with the 2 pages written summary to our next class session. You can have it up on your laptop so that you can make changes and work with it as we go along. Or if you want to print it out and just write on it while we're going through it, that's up to you. Okay, so hopefully these three videos have helped to get you going with your research paper. Remember that today you should be researching, finding that journal article and printing it out, and then starting in on the annotation and such and getting ready for our next session. If you have questions, you can email them to me, or you can use the phone number to FaceTime or call me during our class time. I will be available to answer questions then. Okay, great. Thank you for all your attention.